Good morning, good morning. This is the Hour of Restoration coming to you live from Amsterdam each and every Saturday morning. We welcome you, we welcome you. Thank you for joining us. As we are about to start, I'm going to play a little song for y'all and we'll be back in a bit.
Yeah, inapressija Caro potimina inapressija Yes, inapressija No tunanga stray be meet me na inapressija Yeah, Ishina inapressija Yeah Ishima mine vrede Na caro potimija Santa ko Te cabrana And make you manipsa Ishina ina presija Caro por mi lobina ina presija Yeah Na ina presija God put me blessing na ina presija Yeah Ina presija God put me safu na ina presija Yeah Asanta Fugado e furumija Ina presija Santa ko Te cabrana
Good morning, good morning. As you are seeing now, it's a new face, so the brother is not here now. So you may be asking yourself, who am I? Who is this brother? It's a question for you, but an answer for me. No, but all jokes aside, my name is Brother Randy. You may know me from the past couple of sessions that we had. You haven't seen me in a while, but I'm there. I'm there. I will be now sometimes be a host to bring from some refreshment and another angle, maybe from the Surinamese side. So prepare thyself. So thank you for joining us as we are about to begin. The theme that we are handling this month is this generation. And the topic that we are going to discuss this episode is technology. So if you put together this generation and technology, then what comes into your mind? So we're about to start with the session that we are going to have. We're going to have a small debate. I'll play a little song and then we'll start in 2 minutes. So be right back. Don't forget you can stream via YouTube, Facebook, and yeah, those are the main channels that you can find us on. And yeah, don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tune in and yeah, get some things to think about and consider your life about how technology is affecting us these days.
Oh, oh, yeah, yo. Mi taki bigi yunde, tranga yunde papa. Solanga mi no miti na ngayu, ete wale siko no. Mi noiti ode, noiti mi ode, amang iyo wani. Hey yo, Yesaya si masra, abari me echaten onder.
So as we're about to start the show, we are going to start with a small debate about technology. We have two of my brothers and one of my brother and a sister here seated, and we're going to discuss two different angles about technology because nowadays everybody has an opinion about technology, saying it's from the devil or it has to can bless us. So we'll find out what these two individuals have to say about technology and yeah, to find out what technology really is. So we're going to first start with a debate, and after the debate we'll head into the word, what the preacher man has to say. No, not even what he has to say, what the word has to say about technology. So as we're about to start with the table talk, no, I mean the debate, let's see how our brother and sister are doing. So I welcome you guys. I see I have with me seated brother Shalom and sister Abigail. So I would like to introduce them to you, or maybe let them introduce themselves, and let's see how their week was. So I'm going to start with you, brother Shalom.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, my week was quite busy, but I think I managed.
You managed.
Yeah, so I'm happy.
Okay. And did you experience something throughout the week that struck your mind, or not really?
Whoa, that's a question, but I don't think I can drop one now. I need more time to think about it. So.
Thanks. It's nice to have you here. So,
Thank you.
So let's see how our sister is doing. Sister Abigail, how are you doing?
How am I doing? I'm doing fine, and I'm happy to see you, Brother Randy.
Why?
It has been a
Because
while.
It's been a while,
It
eh?
has been a while, and you've taken up a new role as
Yeah.
a host.
Okay. Thank you for acknowledging
So welcome
that.
back.
Yes, thank you. So, and how was your week?
My week was okay.
Your week was okay.
Yeah, I'm a bit tired, but that's nothing new, and I think
We
it's
cannot
just part
see
of
it at you that you're tired.
You can't see
you
it?
always shine.
Yeah, you have certain glory.
Yeah.
Oh,
You have a certain glow that doesn't look tired. So glad to
Glory.
have
Well,
you
that's
here
a good
also.
thing that you don't see it.
Also
so.
glad to have you here also. So let's jump into the topic then. The topic that we are going to discuss is technology, and the theme of this month is this generation. So when I put these things together, this generation and technology, and then I would want to lift up the question to you guys: what comes to mind in your head when you think about this generation and technology? Feel free to begin, whoever wants to
I
begin.
think we are in the best era of life.
The best era of life.
This is because technology, it has enhanced a lot of people, their abilities, their skills.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm really happy.
You're really happy.
I'm happy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man, because otherwise, if I look at my parents and the generations before us, I don't know how they could manage. Or, of course, they could manage because that's life, because you're used to it. But I think we can now utilize things better.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But also, in regarding to the previous topic that we handled, that was the madness of this generation. and we know all know the things that we discuss. Even when you think about that topic and we talk about technology, you still are happy about certain things. in
Yeah, I
technology, or-
think every person have a choice. Even though there would be technology or not, madness will still be there.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
And Sister Abby.
Well, though it has its positive side, I also feel like it has brought a lot of destruction. I feel like it has made people lazy, and it has created a room or a space for people to just act anyhow on the internet because of the fame or the glory that they're able to receive from other people's worldwide. And so since we as humans, we like to receive compliments and like to boost our confidence,
Likes.
these things, especially social media, is increasing that vainglory,
Yeah.
and it's not always a positive thing.
Okay, okay.
So I don't feel like we always use it for something good, especially for the youngsters. I believe that is nowadays is doing more damage because we're not being informed how to use the internet correctly or technology.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, I've heard what you guys said, but I would like to then start with the debate now. So let's first find out the definition of, not find out, but do you know what technology is? Let's start with that. What is technology? Do you guys know that?
The IT man seated over here,
IT,
so
man.
IT man. Yeah, she's right. You manage all these things here. So
Yeah, okay. If we will talk about technology itself,
yeah,
making a brick was also technology for them. If you understand what I'm
making a what?
brick, gewoon as in a
Oh
brick.
yeah.
Those time it was technology because they developed using their tools to ease their life.
Yeah.
But I think we are talking in technology in the context of computers, social media,
the
or
digital world.
the digital world, right? Okay.
Not really, but you can explain that.
Yeah, I would say in the digital world. I think Chef already said everything. That's technology, the digital world.
Everything
I will not
digital
make it
is
difficult.
technology.
How people see the definition of technology nowadays. Yeah, I would say, to make it really simple, everything that's digital is technology.
Okay, because one thing that I looked up was technology is something that is knowledge that you have, and then you practice it, making something to make life easier or better.
That's why I said in the beginning, when you make a brick or so,
Yeah.
those time when there was no bricks or no how to build a house, it was a brick in order to make their life easier,
Yeah.
to have a house,
Yeah,
a sustainable house.
Yeah.
That's technology in its essence.
Okay.
But if we talk about
Technology
technology
nowadays.
nowadays, which have the
Ah.
influence of life, and so
Yes,
better
yes,
or not,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I think technology is one of the best thing man can have. Seriously, if I would only deviate from the digital world only.
Then let's start then with the first notion then.
Oh wait, I think you first should mention who is pro and against, since it's a debate.
Oh, I thought maybe we should find that out in how people were talking, so we can find out who is for and
I
who
thought
is
maybe
against.
just for clarity's sake.
Yeah,
My
no,
bad.
people have brains today, so they can differentiate.
Technology is there.
Yeah, technology is there. They can
Okay.
find out who is for and who is against. So as Brother Shalom was talking about, technology is very good and whatsoever thing, and Sister Abby was saying, you have other mind. Let's start with the first notion is internet should be only for people above 18 years old, because nowadays when you see all kinds of things happening, children also on little children on iPad or laptop, and you know how sins start. You find them sometimes on certain sites, and that's how a seed is planted. That therefore, when you think about these things, you should only think that internet should be only for people above 18 years old. What do you think, Shalom?
Nah. Because if I didn't had internet
Yeah.
before 18 years, I don't know how I would do my schoolwork. Gewoon something practical.
But how did
I
they
need-
do that when
No.
in days of old, when they didn't have internet? They
Yeah.
also went to school.
Yeah, okay, but then you're 18 years behind
Yeah.
because you're now going to high school and everybody's already using Google to make the thesis, and now you're learning how to use Google. 80 years behind is too much. I do not agree with that, because besides that, how will I have my moment of ease? I think I want to watch a certain movie or so, or to connect with a certain friend. I think I need it before my age of 18.
Yeah, is this Abby? Do you think that?
I think there should be an age limit when it comes to using the internet. As what you said, that you'll be 18 years behind. I think there's so many ways to gain information. I mean, there's a library where you can get access to so many sources that you need for instance, your thesis or whatever work or assignment that you have to prepare for one of your school projects. And I think because children are so revealed to so many things online, I also feel like sometimes it's distracting their learning process, because instead of them going or doing their work, they're being distracted by advertisements or other things that at that time seems more pleasurable than learning. And so I think, especially in your younger years, I think the focus should be more on gaining information in a proper way, and so that you become limited to be reviewed or exposed to, so many things that can harm you, because these advertisements or any kind of video clip, because sometimes when you open a browser, it can be a picture, it can be an advertisement, it can be even a sentence, and that already can prick your mind and create a curiosity which wasn't supposed to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about a negative aspect of it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like, especially in younger years, it could have been a beautiful thing if we could channel it or limit our exposure to different things.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I
Yeah,
get you.
I get you.
But for instance, because now we're talking to give it an age limit, 18 years, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're 19 years.
Yeah.
Do you think age limit between the person will change from 18 to 19, he's immediately a different person? If you're exposed to it unprepared, you will fall for it, even though you will like it or not. It doesn't matter if you are 18 years or 14 years, 45 years, 50 years. I know people who are 55 years and they're doing more terrible things than those who are 18 years. So
That's true.
and they are the 55 years are the one passing on their knowledge to the younger generation. So I would rather say, if you really want to make it strict, then you rather have to rebuke or restrict it for the elder people, so that they can then pass on the right knowledge to the younger one. Because who are those in charge of the internet? Are the elder? They are not the 18 years people. They are not the 16 years old. There are those who are 70, 55, 45, 30, and they are passing on that knowledge to the younger generation. So I think age restriction will not make a difference.
Yeah, but then again, I also feel like, of course, you cannot force or take away the free will what a person has. And the reason why I'm talking about under the age of 18 is that, especially during those years, you're a novice, you are new, you are
Everything is
everything seems so seems so right or good to you. So I think when you're in your younger years, you're more naive than when you reach a certain age. And I know that maybe being 21, comparing a 21-year-old comparing to a 16-year-old, the difference might not be big when it comes to maturity. But then again, I feel like the older you get, the more experience you have gone through life, and also because even though you're being restricted from the internet, I also feel like communication should be there from those who are older than you. So that could be your parents or teachers, and so I think it should then be their responsible to inform you about the dangers of internet. And so when you're making that transformation from, let's say, 17 to 18, now you're allowed to use the internet. These are the pros, these are the cons, so be aware of it. I think you should, because that's why when it comes to, for instance, driving or the access of buying alcohol, it has its age limits, because the impact it can have in your younger years. And so that's why I don't see the harm in putting an age limit.
Okay,
I knew
okay.
you would use alcohol and
Yeah,
driving
yeah.
and so, because what I want to say is that even, let's talk about the most taboo subject in the world, sex. Your parents will restrict you, seksuele voorlichting, sexual education.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
So as in, your parents will restrict you, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But they never really sit you down, especially in our community, to tell you that, okay, don't do it because of that. They don't really take their time because they're really busy in life. For instance, also with alcohol, you tell your children don't drink, but you yourself are drinking alcohol. I think sin and madness is more than technology alone, if I would say, like, it's more a lifestyle that, I would more give it to generational curses, because if you see your parents doing it, it doesn't matter if you are on the internet or not. It's your surrounding which will decide.
Yeah.
But
I think
those-
sorry to interrupt you. The emphasis is laying too much on internet now, because technology is something that goes very broad. It isn't only internet. You have also, for example, let's say the alphabet is also technology, because it's a tool developed to make communications better between certain parties. Like, for example, the English language is also a technology that was created because the English language wasn't there at the time. So it was created to certain people to communicate with each other better.
Hey,
So
today you are deep.
yeah,
You are really deep.
let's say that there's also technology
True.
to make something easier in life. And let's see, how do you guys think about that?
Whoa. If I would say to derive myself from the internet alone and technology in its broad way, how it has helped people. I still think that. Then actually, okay, let me put it this way. If you are saying that the alphabet, the alphabet being it the bricks for building houses and so has also enhanced people, and that is also technology and eased the people their life. When such a thing has been introduced, I think there are also certain laws to it. For instance, if you have an alphabet, right?
Yeah.
There are certain rules, regulations in order to create a sentence,
Yeah.
how to communicate it correctly to your person, to your people. And I think that's where we have to focus on the rules and regulations in order to fit in that box always, because then it will not be a problem. I think the problem that we face here is that people are trying to define their own laws and regulations concerning that which where technology is meant for. For instance, the alphabet.
Yeah.
For instance, making a house, or for instance, some things that ease our life. For instance, the internet and so.
Okay.
That's
Thank
how
you.
I see it.
Thank you. Let's go to the next notion then. Technology is a blessing from Elohim. Yeah, I see you're very quiet.
I don't know do I have to start again?
No,
Again?
let's start with Abigail.
Yes.
Technology is a blessing from Elohim.
Hey, it's too heavy.
A blessing from Elohim.
Yeah. Because technology has many areas, so it's a matter of fact which angle you look at it. So the angle that we are now going to discuss is technology a blessing from Elohim?
This one is a tough one.
Yeah,
Scriptures are going through your mind.
good luck.
Well,
Loaded.
let's see.
She's loaded. She have to pick which one.
No.
She's loaded. She's loaded.
No. I think I'm going to say no.
What?
I'm going to say no. I don't necessarily see it as a blessing, because I feel like when technology is in there, you're not becoming limited to worship Elohim.
No.
So no, because you say it's like Elohim, technology given to us is a blessing.
Yeah.
But I feel like when technology is out of the picture,
Yeah.
it doesn't change anything.
Okay, then I would like to.
So that's why I don't necessarily see it as a blessing. But you can use it, technology, of course, to reach many people at the same time. But I don't necessarily see that as a blessing.
I would like to fire a question then at you. Like, for example, when Noah was building Elohim told him that there was a flood coming, right? And then Noah received knowledge about from Elohim to build an ark. Let's say that he received knowledge to build an ark. That was technology that he received to build an ark, and it was like a blessing unto him that he survived then the flood that came. Wasn't that? Couldn't that be seen then as a blessing that came to him?
Of course, I see that as a blessing because that instruction came from Elohim himself.
So then technology can be a blessing, right?
It can be a blessing, but I don't necessarily see it as a blessing. I feel like you can still worship or follow Elohim's instruction without technology being there.
Okay. And Shalom?
Maybe I think because I wasn't aware that technology had such a broad or wide definition.
You'd be
So my mind is still like, whenever I hear the word technology, it's like narrowed to
The digital world.
the digital
Yeah.
world. So when you first read out the notion, my mind immediately went to
the
the
digital
digital
world.
world or
Stuff.
internet. So that's why.
Yeah.
So I for me myself, I have to switch my mind on and off again when the word
That's why I
technology is being
started with
mentioned.
that technology isn't the only digital. The technology is something that you have certain knowledge in your head, and then you make something to make life easier. For example, the alphabet was created to make communication between certain groups of people easier. So technology isn't only about internet and digital stuff, apps and that sort of stuff. It goes very broad. So that's why I started that way. But thank you for sharing that. Let's see the
But
next.
I would like to hear what.
Oh.
Actually. Well,
Okay.
okay, let the host decide.
No. Oh, the host decides.
You have something to say?
The host
what,
decides.
what to say?
If technology is a blessing from Elohim,
Yeah.
you already used another example for Noah, but I had another example in mind for instance of, let me put it this way. Elohim's purpose is to build his kingdom here on earth.
Yeah.
He used Israel to reach out other nations to spread his word and his laws. And then it linked me to the story of Paul. As in Paul being a man, a simple Hebrew man, but he was sent to the Gentiles. And at that time, it was really easy for him to reach out the masses so quick because of the boats, because of the horses, of the horses and the chariots, because they can also exchange money, buying things, and so, because that's all part and knowledge given from above. Because man on its own did not have that. If you look at how Adam started and how it ended with the Messiah in those times, there are a lot of things that came in, currency. Herbs, So I think in that context, I would say that indeed Elohim utilized the knowledge of the heavens to really reach out his people.
Okay. Let's proceed then to the counter of that notion. Technology is the favorite tool of the devil.
I do agree.
But wait, I think we should narrow it down because now I don't really know which way to think when it comes to the word technology. So especially I think for this era that we're living in right now, I think technology, I believe it's the digital world.
The digital world. Yeah, because
I understand what you mean, but when you read the Bible, it says the inventions of man, right?
Yeah.
There was no digital world, but it was still destroying the whole world.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean. Okay, but maybe she means is that it ought to be relevant for us nowadays. What's relevant for us these days, and that's more the digital world. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah, because honestly, again, we are talking about the theme of this month is
Because
this
This
generation, and the topic is technology.
Technology.
So I understand why you're confused. So let's narrow it down to this generation and the technology, how it's in our world today. You can answer with that now.
So now you can fire me, huh?
Technology is a tool of
Just
the
from my
devil.
own thought process
true.
because I wasn't sure which way to think. But can you please repeat it again for
Technology is the favorite tool of the devil in this generation using technology.
Nice. I like.
Yes. Proceed, Abby. Yeah, you wanted to. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, of course.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, yeah, I do believe that it's his favorite too because of the example that I'd given before.
Yeah.
You can use technology at a certain time and reach thousands or millions of people at the same time. Like simultaneously, you can reach people when you are going live from Facebook. So it's not only the people here in the Netherlands that can hear you speaking or talking, but everywhere abroad. And so because of that easy access, different things can be used to lure people or to lure people their minds into negative things, especially some of the things that are being promoted nowadays. It's very controversial, and also contrary to the word of Elohim. And that can be things as what are some of the major topics discussed nowadays?
So you are saying that we are using the devil's favorite tool now, as in we are going live.
Because that's what I also heard. So I'm
The
glad you
devil's
mentioned
favorite
it.
tool to spread Elohim's message. Is
Yeah.
Elohim not the source of life? Or
Yeah.
am I linking
That's
it
also what
differently?
I concluded in what you said.
No, like okay, as I'm saying that it is his favorite tool. Yes, in the sense that because of the easy access,
Okay.
many people can get the wrong information or the wrong information at the same time. So it's using it as a tool to distract more people from that which is good. Because, for instance, if you have a certain curiosity, it's so easy for you to get to know more of it, or to see more of what you want to see at that moment. And certain things, just like Netflix, and I'm not saying that all of the things that are available on Netflix is wrong, but because we also now are so being connected on the internet or Wi-Fi, it's like you can be connected to the internet 24/7. You barely have the opportunity to go offline. So what that means is that every time that you're awake or your eyes are open, the chances are big that you will see something which is
unclean.
more harmful to you than it is good. So I don't see often good messages being brought out to us, but it's mostly the negative things and the things that are really contrary to the word of Elohim. Because if you were to answer the question, so how often do you see good messages or something positive being promoted online
Do you,
compared to that which is evil?
and Shalom, what do you think? Is the technology the favorite tool of the devil, or your
As in the digital world?
this generation technology?
No.
No.
No,
What?
because
When I open Snapchat, I see many stupid things. So
exactly, and that's why. Maybe I'm referring back to to history and how it has been repeated. Because if you look at, since we're talking about Elohim, the devil, and so if you look at Noah, he was also the only one. So it has always been there to follow sin, to follow evil, to follow lust. It has always been there. So if I would say that because of the digital area, because of that, people the devil is now in control of the digital area to control people and mind and such. I will not say that it is his favorite tool, because he have already been doing that since ever. So men are prone to choose that is which is evil.
Okay.
But I do feel like it because of technology, this example that you have given, even though it has always been there, now it's increasing, it's getting more. So it's not. So
But now it's like we are giving the power so much to the devil. His favorite tool. He created it. He mastered it. He invented the internet in order to manipulate everybody. And then Elohim is chipping in
I
to use.
understand.
I don't think Elohim. He's sitting there like a boss, looking at things, and he see, oh, you are moving No, I cannot agree with this.
Because he
notion,
created everything, right?
He's
And
the
so-
source of life. So I would, yeah. It's like we're giving so much power to
But
a
is it-
person, a spirit who does not even can contain himself.
So you're saying it's like the same, like something was created, and just like the devil likes to imitate the things of Elohim, right? So then he's also using this technology that Elohim also uses to help people in certain areas. He's then taking it and using it for something corrupt to corrupt mankind. Is that what you're saying?
I think that's indeed the role of, or that is his strength to imitate things. And on that side, then I can relate to what to what our sister is saying. But if I would say that the technology is the devil's favorite tool, as if he invented it, for he have many tools and he invented it,
Okay.
it's really hard for me to accept that, because Elohim is Elohim. We have seen it 4 times. So what favoritism can you have,
Yeah.
which you
Okay.
have not seen?
Then I have another notion.
Oh.
Technology is taking away time from being with Elohim. This in this generation, if you look around, is technology in this generation taking away time from being with Elohim? How do you see it? Let's start with Abby.
Again.
Okay, did you start with her? No,
No,
let's
no,
start-
no.
let's start with
No,
her.
no worries.
Because he was speaking last, and I thought you
No,
go.
no worries. I can still answer it.
Yes.
If technology is taking away the time that we're spending with Elohim,
Yes.
Um,
In this generation, because this generation and then
yeah,
phones-
it's difficult, but let's see. I think it has its hoe zeg je voordelen ook alweer?
He's
Pros
and
Pros.
cons. pros
Yeah,
and
I want
cons.
to use a different word, but it has
Advantages.
it has its advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah.
The advantages of technology is that sermons are being, you can find lots of sermons online. You can read the Bible online, for instance. But then again, I feel like the disadvantages of those things sometimes is that we become less productive. So instead of reading our Bible and doing your own Bible studies, we're so quick to use the internet to find out, for instance, the meaning behind Noah's Ark. I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
So we're so quick to read someone else's commentary on that scripture
Yeah.
or that story, and so those are one of the major disadvantages that I see, because we don't use it to become really active in our own free time. So instead of you doing your own research, aside from using the internet, I feel like sometimes it's too easy for us to copy and paste that has been written by someone else.
So internet is making us dumber.
Not
say-
necessarily dumber, but
lazy.
it has
Or
its
technology.
lazy at times.
Lazy.
And sometimes other people there inside can be helpful, but you can type in Google, for instance, what's the meaning behind Noah's Ark, and you will find 45 different opinions. So then how are you going to figure out what is right?
Yeah. Okay. And Shalom?
If it distracts the youth or this generation, I would nah, because of technology, I can listen to worship songs.
Yeah, but
I need-
because of technology, you can also go to certain sites and distract you from Elohim. That is the notion. Technology is taking away time from being with Elohim.
Then again, I'll always go back to the will of man, because there is no difference in that. If Elohim does not have to plant a seed in you to seek him, how would you seek him?
Yeah.
So in such and if that seed has been planted, it is so much easier to tap into the songs of or the psalms of what people have written, or songs about concerning Elohim. So if it has distracted the generation, the masses, hey, the masses has always been distracted since
Yeah.
with or without internet. But if you have the seed of Elohim already, then you have to reflect, you have to think, you have to assess, am I really a child of him or not? But if you are, then you have many options. You can read the laws books. I would never know of the laws books if I did not go to www.google.nl.
Yeah. You wouldn't know them, eh? It can be revealed onto you, right? Without like in the back in the days, when all the scrolls were eliminated.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It's difficult. So, is there anything you want to give from your side to the listeners about technology?
Yeah, because of this debate, I realized more as I was speaking, and your notions and the perception of Abigail as in the internet, or is it broad or not. It really gives me another definition of technology.
Yeah.
It's broad in its essence.
Yeah, it's very broad.
But when you look at history, the only thing with history, what life is, it repeats itself. History has always been repeating, and I would always be thinking, okay, so all these things has already been played. So, and all these things are we already using? For example, the alphabet, because you can also use the alphabet to chant or to seduce a woman or break her heart.
Yeah.
Because of communication which has been developed.
Yeah.
So, what my advice is, or what I'm going to contemplate this week for myself also, because I always take things away from this table talk, I would assess everything beside internet only, because technology is placed in everywhere. So that means every part of my life I can fall into the favorism task or tool of the enemy.
Yeah.
So that's why. So I think that's also listeners, everybody, just think about how do I utilize the things around me? Am I use it for Elohim's glory, for my own benefits, for them?
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's a very crucial one. That's also something I was thinking about. So thank you for sharing that. And Sister Abby, what do you think about? Or is there something that you want to give about technology that?
Well, first of all, I wasn't aware myself that technology had such a broad definition.
Yeah.
So I definitely have learned something new, and that's something that I would take away with me after this session. And I'm really curious to hear what a preacher man has to say now, because my mind has been open to new information.
Yeah.
And I also like the insight from Brother Shalom, how technology has always been there in ancient time, and also the example that you gave about Noah's Ark, and the example of creating a brick or to use it as something to build something.
Yeah.
I would have never come across that as an example of that being part of technology.
Yeah. Because for I myself, as we're about to end, I'm going to share a little thing that I was thinking about. The conclusion, what I was thinking about was, technology is like money. Money in itself is not evil. It's your heart, how you use it. You can use money to curse people, buy guns, shoot people, or you can have money and do something good for another person. I also see it the same with technology. You can use it for good, like on the internet, search out preaching, listen to words, study. You can also use it to do filthy stuff, go to certain website and defile your life. So that was the thing that I was thinking about. So we have come to the end of the table talk. I would like to thank you guys.
Thank you very much, Randy, man.
Man, you have shared some,
Our host.
you shared some good insights. So I'd like to thank you. And as we are about to end, we'll head into the preacher man is getting ready, and we will see you guys in a bit. Thank you.
Te estrellé you know mula a ti, mi brada, bikasigado, manichari gomoro he. Te estrellé you know mula a ti, mi sisa, bikasi Jesus, manichari gomoro he. distrayeko. Oh, minela siati noiti one day. Because me sabi, Yahweh ochan mi gomoro hey. Oh, distrayeko. Oh, noite me sade que voudrais bacali me mostrar. Yama me sabe, you are no plan na mi. Ya eu sachari me comoda. Ya na you gado. Moro hey, you sachari me go. Ya na you. Moro hey, moro hey, moro hey. Ya you chari me go. Moro hey, ya na you sachari go moro hey. Noite me salasiati, ya Yahweh. Moro hey.
So, as we are about to start with the preaching, seeing what the word has to say, we'll start with the brother and he will bring the word. And let's see what the Bible has to say about technology. The theme that we are discussing this month is this generation, and the topic of this episode is technology. So, let's find out in the word. Get your pens, your paper, share, like the video, share it with someone that you think should know this, and then let's find out what the Bible has to say about technology. So I'll give the word to my brother.
We thank Elohim once again for yet another morning or day which He has allowed us to live. The Bible says, let everything that has breath magnify Elohim. We are extremely grateful for this gift which He has given unto us. And it is our sincere prayer every day that we will not waste this opportunity given, but that we will live out our days in full acknowledgement that He is our Maker and He is the power and the source of us all. And that besides Him, there is none. As for today's topic, which people are calling technology, actually it is science and technology, because technology is a part of it, is the fruit of science. So the topic is science and technology, and as we look into this topic, we will understand why. Let's see how we will start. Obviously, the brother who went before me last week had some foundations that he laid. I think this can also could be considered a bit of a foundation, because we are trying to make sure that people understand certain things as it relates to the bigger picture. Because sometimes you hear statements where men of renown and science will say that religion, or the pursuit of understanding men's relationship with the higher power, whom some call God, is a relentless pursuit which the rich have devised and given unto the poor, so that the poor would spend their time seeking for a being out there, whilst the rich are using their time more efficiently in acquiring wealth and controlling the masses. So people really minimize this pursuit of a higher power, whilst in reality, the pursuit of men to understand where he comes from, who he is, and his role is the number one endeavor which all of us must partake in life. And you will see that in this pursuit, you will understand that nothing happens by itself, and even the things which we think has nothing to do with the other, you will see everything always points to him. But most of the time we don't understand that. Most of the time we don't realize. But there is a quote I read where a former scientist and atheist said that when you enter into the beginning stages of science, you will deny God completely. But the more you enter into science, the more you will become and will see that everything points to a higher power. And this is something that I really hope that Elohim will open our eyes to understand. Because I was trying to listen to the discussion of the two people who went before me, and it was quite clear to see that one was really against and the other was more like, nah, everything is God's. Everything is God. So, and I understand, but not everything is God's.
That's right.
Not everything is God's, as some like to call him. Because when we hear words like free will, etc., free will is not only something that resides within men, but free will is also something that resides within the domain of men in what men can create. People don't understand that. Just like we have Elohim who has the power to create all things, this power is also embedded in men, in that men are also to create offshoots of the original intent of things. And a lot of things that we are seeing, and a lot of things that we are doing, and a lot of things that we are involved in, yes, Elohim made all things, but he has not done all things.
What?
Yes, I know this is quite messed up, but we have to understand certain things. So, science and technology, I want you to really open your mind to certain things here.
Open up, open up.
Let's read this quote first, because there are really people who are against technology, and then there are people that are really for technology, and then there are people who are in between, wondering that, hey, what makes us this advanced society? How do you define an advanced society? What makes us really so advanced? And these things, because uncomprehendable as life is, people just sit and take things for granted, in that Randy can sit here in the Netherlands and then he can call his grandma in Suriname using a phone,
Puffy.
and then they can discuss. She is miles away from him. Miles away from him. In Suriname, it can maybe even be dark. Here it's day. But they are able to speak. And when Randy says, hi, grandma, Randy's voice and maybe even his video, his message, his appearance is sent to Suriname. And within seconds, they are able to communicate. And there is a line of connection there. But people take it for granted. People take it for granted. And we call it science. We call it science, and we enjoy ourselves. And you are talking on WhatsApp, and you are making calls. Africans are using Viber and are calling to Ghana and Congo and whatever we are doing. And we are just relaxed, calling it science.
Yeah.
There are people I know now, their houses are automated where they can speak to their lamps and say, Alexa, turn the lights off. And the lights go off.
Hey Siri.
And you are saying things to, hey Siri, how do I get home? And Siri says, take this. We are doing all these things and we are just sitting there and taking things for granted. Whilst behind the scenes, the people who are doing it, who are calling themselves scientists, tell you that, hey, there is no God. But let me expose certain things to you about these people who call themselves scientists and the pursuit of science and the fruit of technology and what it really means, so that you may have certain things in proper context. So, first of all, because it's science and then technology.
Yes.
First of all, when you see that science thing, yeah, that word science,
Science. The Big Bang.
which simply means science. I don't know if you have the definition there.
Let's see. Science definition. You want Oxford or just
Whatever, just definition science.
Science, the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and the behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment.
Did you understand what
I have
what they
no idea what I read.
Okay, please read it again.
Science,
Science.
The definition of science.
The definition of science.
The intellectual and practical activity
The intellectual,
and
meaning an activity of the intellect,
Yes.
of the psyche,
yes,
and the practical, meaning what you know now you put it into practice.
Yes.
Go ahead.
encompassing the systematic study of the structure.
Meaning they are now studying everything that has to do. Encompassing means to make a circle, a full globe. So the full study of
The structure and the behavior of the physical and natural world.
the structure, meaning the form, and the behavior,
Yes.
meaning the intent behind the form of the
Physical and natural world.
physical and of the natural world. So science simply means the study of the physical and natural world in all of its forms.
Yes.
That's what science means.
Yep.
All right?
According to Google.
According to whatever. So, give me Genesis chapter 2.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, from verse.
Just give me verse 9, because we have to jump a bit. We have, I think, a lot of things to cover.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, from verse 9.
Uh-huh.
And out of the ground made Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight.
And out of the ground made Elohim to grow everything which is
Pleasant to the sight.
pleasant to the sight. Uh-huh.
And good for food.
And good for food, for consumption.
The tree of life.
And the tree of life
Also in the midst of the garden.
also in the center of the garden.
And the tree of knowledge and good and evil.
And the tree also of knowledge
Of good
of both good and evil
Yes.
was also there. Go ahead.
and a river went out of Eden.
So, this tree was also there. Now, give me the same Genesis 2, but I jump to verse 17.
Genesis chapter 2 from verse 17. But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil,
Now, Elohim is telling people, listen, of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou wilt.
thou shalt not eat.
So, this is the beginning of things. Elohim has made all things.
Yeah.
And then he created man.
Yes.
And then he placed them in the garden. And he said, everything you have access to, except one thing. Don't touch, don't come near, don't utilize, don't make use of the tree of knowledge of both good and evil.
Yes.
So as for the tree of life, you can eat of it, do all things with it. But of the tree of knowledge of both good and evil, thou art not allowed to touch.
Yes.
So you can see that there is a intention coming from Elohim here. That, hey, as for my people always think knowledge is good, knowledge is good. You have to be very careful. Because nowadays, you are able to do more evil with knowledge than you are able to do that which is good. And people always mistake wisdom for knowledge. Wisdom is something else altogether. Knowledge simply means to know certain things. And Elohim, as you saw in the beginning, he was trying to make sure that he hides certain things from men so that men will not be exposed to it.
Yeah.
So it was like, of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, please don't touch. Now let me give you a small example. When you have a child and you are a father,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You have a child. The child is born in its purest state, not really knowing between good and evil.
Yes.
You will try to train a child, right? However, when it comes to you exposing the child to knowledge or to certain things, let's say fire, you will not expose your child to fire immediately. You will do all the things for him.
Yeah.
Until the child reaches a certain state where he has shown responsibility, maturity, and he has grown to the point where then he will begin to understand the very nature and the implicacies of that fire.
Yes.
But you will not expose him to that fire immediately.
That's right.
But you will try to make sure that that child stays, I think, as purely as possible for so long as you can. That was the same way that Elohim wanted us to be. When we came into this world, there are certain things that are happening now. There are certain inventions that it was never Elohim's desire for us to be in these things. Because he knew that if we were exposed to these things too early or even exposed to these things altogether, it would destroy us rather than bring us benefits or positivity. That's why you will see when Elohim made Adam in the garden, and every servant and people of Elohim, you will always see that in their very nature, they are very basic and simple people. They are very basic and simple people. When they describe Esau and Jacob, for example, Esau was a man of the field, liking to hunt. He has weapons and all these things. But the Bible said, but Jacob was a man of tents. He preferred just wandering off, being in his tent, maybe tending the flock, not doing too many inventions. When you read the Bible, you see the bloodline of Adam, and then you see the bloodline of Cain, for example. You see that in the bloodline of Cain, there was the place where there were many inventions, the founding of music and psalteries and all these things. But in the bloodline of Adam, you will see that people were very simple-minded. Why? Because the Bible says in Ecclesiasticus, chapter 7, verse 29.
The book of Ecclesiasticus. Oh, wait.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 7. Or Ecclesiastes chapter 7.
Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, right?
No, Ecclesiastes.
Or Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Verse 29.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, from verse 9.
Verse 29, please.
Verse 29. Lo,
It says, lo,
this only have I found,
this have I found. So I've been certain things, but this I have found.
that Elohim had made man upright,
that Ha Elohim had made man upright or yashar.
but they have sought out many inventions.
But men themselves have sought out many inventions. So this preacher man is trying to allude to something, that many inventions is the reason why man is in the problems that he is today.
Yes, yes.
He's trying to allude, he's trying to suggest that through the many inventions of men, instead of being simple as Elohim created them, they sought after many devices. And that is why they are in the predicament in which they are today. So we have to ask ourselves, this many invention. Because sometimes we sit and we are like, yeah, human beings, your idol can be your gold, etc., etc. But the number one idol of men, what they really don't understand sometimes is, the number one idol of men is knowledge.
What?
Knowledge is also an idol. Many men are falling victim to the idol of knowledge without knowing. The constant pursuit and seeking of something to elevate yourself.
Yeah.
But instead of taking the simple road of Elohim, you are seeking other types of devices. Now I'm leading you towards where this science technology really comes into play. Because when you see the world, you have to ask yourself, where do all these many devices come from? Where does all these many devices come from? Because in science, there is something called the common science or the common knowledge. But then there's also something known as the hidden science or the hidden knowledge, which some people call the occultic knowledge. But I'm telling you in essence that every renowned scientist is actually an occultic person. Meaning they have hidden science which they don't tell you. They only show you the front of it. But behind the scenes, what happens, the mechanics thereafter, they don't tell you.
Backstage.
You have your phone. You are making video calls to Ghana, to whatever. You are seeing the phone, but the occultic mechanics happening behind it, you don't know. And they will never tell you how they reach these things.
Never.
They only tell you, yeah, we took a cable, we do this. No, listen. For point A to connect to point B simultaneously, there has to be some form and fashion of connection. In other words, there has to be a form of portal. There's no other way how people are seeing me now, Facebook Live. How are you and I connected?
Nobody knows.
In what way, fashion, or form are you and I connected? In what way, fashion, or form are you and me connected? Yeah, it's via the internet. What is the internet?
It's a question.
It goes to the World Wide Web. What World Wide Web? Have you seen the internet? Have you touched it? Do you know where he lives? What's his address?
www.
How many bandwidth is there on the internet? Where does it begin? Where does it end? You see, you don't know.
I don't know.
And even when we're talking about internet, you only know the legal internet, but you don't know that 90% of the true internet is called the dark web.
The darkness.
No, it's not. So what I'm saying is that you only see the front of things.
Yeah.
But let me take you to the back of things so that you may know and understand. While Elohim said, of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou will not eat.
Yes.
So when Elohim forbade them from doing this, something happens. And because of time, I really have to jump.
Yes.
But when you have time, you can go to your study rooms and read the first book of Enoch, chapter 7 and chapter 8. Because the enemy found a way in truly eating of the tree of good and evil, despite the fact that Elohim said don't do it. They first took a bite of it in Genesis 3, but then further down the line, they continue to consume more of that hidden knowledge. Everything that Elohim said, I do not want my people to know. We human beings found out, and we still came to the knowledge of what that hidden thing was. And that is what we call the occult. Whenever someone says you are occultic, occult comes from the Greek word oculus, which means to hide.
Yeah.
So hidden knowledge is occultic knowledge. And that is everything that Elohim did not want you to know, because he knew that it would corrupt you instead of do you good.
So the humans
So he
continue.
hid certain things. What did he hid, for example? Things like now that you can call me via whatever, and we are connecting.
Yeah.
Things like how people are able to make nuclear bombs. Things like how people are able to take lipstick and makeup and foundations and create the art of it and put it on their face. These are all things like how people are able to take guns. You take metal from the ground, you create and form guns.
Yes.
All this knowledge, where does it come from? These are all occultic, hidden knowledge, but they were revealed to mankind.
Yeah.
But the question is how?
By who?
So because of time, we have to jump. Give me First Enoch, just chapter 8, please. Because if you have time, you can read First Enoch chapter 7 and then read chapter 8. But because we have to jump, brother, just read First Enoch chapter 8, please.
The book of First Enoch, chapter 8, from verse 1.
Go ahead.
And Azazel
And Azazel.
taught men to make swords.
Now all these are fallen angels who revealed themselves to women, and they copulated with women, and they had offsprings,
Yes.
which we nowadays know as demons or Nephili, meaning the fallen ones. So when they came to human beings, these angels,
Yes.
after passing down of their nature, of their DNA inside of human, creating offspring, they also gave human certain insights.
Knowledge.
Insights given to angels to know, but not given to human beings to know.
Yes.
They gave them hidden knowledge, the occultic knowledge. And what are the knowledge that they gave?
And to make swords and knives.
So if you are wondering, where do these scientists have the brain, intellect, and capacity to make nuclear bombs?
Yes.
How did the first person how was he inspired to make guns? All these wisdom comes down from the occultic. These are all hidden wisdom, hidden science. Technology comes from hidden science.
Yes.
So he taught them how to make weapons. He taught them how to make guns. Go ahead.
And made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them.
And he taught them how to take metals from the earth, work them,
And bracelets
and bracelets
and ornaments
and ornaments
and the use of antimony
and the use of antimony, which is paintings,
and the beautifying of the eyelids
and the beautifying of the eyelids,
and all kinds of costly stones.
Go ahead.
And there arose much godliness.
You see, and because of all these many inventions, because of all these scientific things, which was a breakthrough in their days,
No, godlessness.
there arose what?
And there arose much godlessness.
There arose much godlessness because of science, because of knowledge. Go ahead.
And they committed fornication,
And they committed fornication.
and they were led astray and became corrupt in all their
You
ways.
see why Elohim did not want us to know certain things? You see why he didn't want us to know certain things?
I see.
Because it's easier nowadays, it's easier to commit evil than it is to do good. Yes, you can do positive things with the internet, but do you know that I think around roughly 90% of internet circulation is porn and sexual objects? About 90% of the whole of internet? And we're not even talking about the dark web.
What?
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
You are watching the news. There is no good news in the news.
There's no
Good news doesn't sell. 99% of news is trauma based.
It's horror.
It's made to traumatize your mind into going about smoking weed. Because you're watching the news, you're like, fire burn this world. Everything is going down to drains. I might as well just smoke some marijuana and relax. Because we are all dying. There's no positivity going on. They take cobalt from the ground and all these things, and they make nuclear bombs and weapons. This technology of yours. Continue reading. There are other inventions that the angels taught men. Continue reading.
Let's see. Were led astray and became corrupt in other ways. Semyasa taught enchantments and root cuttings.
Semyaza taught enchantments and
Root cuttings.
nowadays when you hear the word, you say, hey, yeah, I'm going to the pharmacist. I'm going to the pharmacy. I have a headache. Oh, I'm going to the pharmacy. I need medicine.
Medicine.
People who don't believe in God, they have medicines. They go to the doctor. The doctor helps them. But do you know the root word of that word, medicine? Have you studied the root word of medicine? The root word of medicine is pharmakeia in Greek.
Yeah.
Pharmakeia in Greek relates to or literally means sorcery,
What?
which we now call in Dutch hekserij, sorcery. I was watching this, I think it was this movie years ago, Transformers. And one of the Decepticons spoke to one of the human beings because he was trying to explain to him knowledge.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he told him that we aliens, we use magic. And the human being was like, you are aliens. Why do you guys have the concept of magic? And the human being was like, but I don't believe in magic. And then he was like, the alien was like, what you humans now, today, call science was once known as sorcery, which we call magic.
Ah.
Yeah, you can say hey all you want. But what we call science today, if you would show it to someone years back, he would say, what manner of sorcery is this?
Yeah.
If you take a phone, you bring it back 1,000 years ago, you give it to someone, you're like, hey, where are you? I'm in Suriname. Okay, call someone from the Netherlands. He will be like, what does it mean to call someone?
You're a
And then you're like, no, video chat him. He's like, what do you mean video chat? And then when you would take the phone, call someone by video and show it to him, he will be like, what type of demonic apparition is this?
You're a sorcerer.
But you are now making video calls every day.
Like it's nothing.
You think it's normal because it's science.
Yeah.
But you are holding sorcery in your hands.
Whoa.
You are applying magic.
I'm a sorcerer.
You are applying magic. But now we call it science, and you can now sleep and you are relaxed. And you are still denying the existence of a higher power. You can trust and believe in science, but you don't believe in a higher power. Not knowing that when you say I'm going to the pharmacist, pharmacy simply means sorcery. And sorcery was also something, the cutting of the roots, it was taught by these fallen angels. Why do you think where do you think things like psychedelic drugs, where do they come from? Where does heroin come from? Where does ecstasy come from?
Root cuttings.
The cutting of roots. They take leaves, manipulate leaves, and they bring out a white pill. You say it's made by science. It's sorcery, my friend. That's why when you use certain pills, you hallucinate. You see different dimensions. But it's drugs.
Drugs.
It's drugs. I know a friend of mine used to take these pills. And when he took these pills, he would begin to hallucinate. And then he would scream and act all paranoid. We're like, what's wrong? And he would tell you, I'm seeing short people.
What?
No, it's known. If you use mushrooms,
Yeah.
everyone knows. It's called paddles. In Dutch, it's called
Shrooms,
paddles.
shrooms.
If you use paddles, one of the apparitions you will see are short people. This is not a joke. It's true. Where do they come from? Who are these people? You don't know that you are being enchanted using pharmacists, which is sorcery.
Root cutting.
So what we nowadays classify as science was once known as sorcery.
Yeah.
Sorcery is nothing else but hidden knowledge, the occultic world.
Yeah.
The world that angels, the knowledge that angels gave to mankind, and it corrupted mankind. Continue reading. What else?
Armaros, the resolving of enchantments.
And he taught us the resolving of enchantments. Go ahead.
Barikal taught astrology.
Barakwel taught astrology, the reading of the stars.
Kokabel, the constellations.
Kokabel taught mankind the constellation. Yeah, this is the Big Bear, this is the Penta, this is the Orion's Belt, this is the Mazarot. Go ahead.
Ezekiel, the knowledge of the clouds.
And he taught men the knowledge of the clouds.
Arakiel, the science of the earth.
Arakiel, the science of the earth.
Samuel, the science of the sun. And Sariel, the course of the moon. And men perished. They cried.
Look at the conclusion. So after the angels taught us all these beautiful things, so-called, the conclusion is, and men perished.
They cried, and their cry went on to heaven.
But why would you cry? Now you can make gold, you can make makeup, you have guns, you have weapons, you have pharmacy.
Yeah.
Why are you crying?
Because we're perishing.
Because all these things brought forth death.
Look at the world.
All these things brought forth death.
Look at the climate.
All these things brought forth death.
Look at the storm that's coming.
So, but why do these things bring forth death? And what is science's role here? Because now I'm trying to give you the basic understanding. And what you nowadays, you call it science, is nothing else but occultic knowledge, is the occult. You are dabbling in the occult. When you have a phone, you are enjoying life. You are dabbling in the occult.
Doubling.
You are dabbing. You are dabbing your toe. You are doing things. You are applying hidden technology, hidden knowledge.
With a simple phone.
With a simple phone. So, but why am I trying to make people to understand this? It's because you cannot be someone who say, I believe in science, and not know that science is nothing else but modern day sorcery, which is hidden knowledge. And I'm trying to bring you somewhere here, because what you have to understand is what has been the impact of this science and this technology. Science brought about, as I said, weapons, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But if I bring it to our day's terms now, something as simple as television.
Yeah.
Your TV set. Now jumping a bit into technology itself.
Yeah.
I spoke about the phone. Something as simple as your TV. You are sitting at home watching television. You don't know what's transpiring. You only see the front cover. Let me take you to what happens behind.
Yeah.
Because I always said, because I always think about television and how dangerous it is. I even wrote an essay about television, I think years ago. But television simply is the spiritual world revealed to the blind. That's what television is. Television is Satan's propaganda box. The enemy uses television to propose certain ideologies and introduce certain ideologies to you, which before that, you never knew it.
Yeah.
You never thought of it. But TV showed it. And when TV showed it, a seed was planted.
Introduced to you.
That's all that TV is. Satan was sitting down and like, how can I ruin mankind as quickly as possible?
TV.
How can I bring into display what is hidden in my heart? How can I bring to the light the wickedness of me? And then it was like, I have to find a way to mass produce and to mass replicate and to mass display my wickedness to all.
Mass destruction.
And instead of revealing to every person one by one, he's like, no time. Let me introduce something. Put it in front of them where I am in contact with them 24/7.
24/7.
So lo and behold, now back in the days when there was no television, there maybe was radio, families would sit together, eat together, talk, discuss life. All of a sudden, a box came in the midst of the living room.
A box of black box.
A box was in the midst of your room. And as the box was in the midst of your living room, all of a sudden, all your attention was drawn towards the box. First, the box was talking about news. Then it was talking about what is happening in the country. Then it started talking about, it brought something called entertainment.
Yeah.
Which means a fantasy world. The brother spoke a bit about virtual reality. You don't understand what that is.
Virtual.
People think that, hey, when the Bible said don't be drunk of this world, people think, hey, this drunkenness simply means maybe smoking or drinking. No, my friend. I think 99% of people are drunk of TV and virtual reality. You are drunk. You are drunk. You are drunk. You are drunk.
Sober up.
And people don't get that they are drunk. To the point where when someone tells you to tell them something about yourself, after 2 minutes you are done. You don't know nothing else to say about you. But you can rap and sing songs and tell about movies you have seen for hours and days without stopping. You know what that means? It means that your brain has been incapacitated by fantasy. So you are existing in nothing, but you are existing.
You're living in a fantasy world.
You are living in a fantasy world. You have to take care of your life, of things. You don't have time to do those things. Go out, maybe work out, fitness. 1 hour you're tired, kaput. Hey, condition, man. Hey, cook something good for yourself. No time. Let me go to fast food. But then you can sit at home. You can binge watch. That's the term, binge watch.
Binge watch.
Binge watch means to fully intoxicate your mind by spending hours and hours and hours watching TV. So you are binge watching Netflix.
You're indulging in
You can binge watch Netflix, but you don't have time to work out. When they tell you do your homework, you have a timer. I will do 1 hour of homework a day. After that, you're like, hey, my brain feels like explosion. But you can watch Netflix series for 10 hours straight.
No pause.
And without stopping. And you don't know why. Do you know why it's difficult to read 1 hour of Bible? Or not even just Bible. Do you know why it's so difficult to read 1 hour of maybe your textbook or your school book?
Why?
But why it's easy to read comic books, women and romance. You know why they can spend hours reading romance and men can read comic books, and why it's so easy to watch TV for hours without stopping? Because as you know, the human brain, the human brain has levels of activity or waves. The human brain has levels of waves. It consists of 4 waves. You have the beta wave level.
Yeah.
Then you have the alpha wave level.
Yeah.
Then you have the theta wave level. And then you have the delta wave level. Now, the beta wave level is the highest wave level in which a human being operates.
Yes.
The reason why I'm able to make coherent sentences and can speak and preach, and why you are able to host, and the reason why people are able to sit at home and pay close attention to what I'm saying is because at this point in time, I'm using my cognitive functions to the highest level. So I'm now operating on a beta level. The beta level is when your critical thinking, your evaluation mechanism, your ability to critically analyze things before you accept it is on. That's when you're on your beta level.
Beta.
That's usually when you are having dialogue, discussions, when you are engaged in something that causes your mind and body to be interacted at the same time, to be fully focused on something. You're on beta level. So usually when you're reading a book,
Yeah.
and because when you're reading a book, you don't know that when you're reading a book and something happens in the book, you are reading it, you are hearing yourself reading the words, your mind is playing images of what you are reading. You are trying to think, what does he mean? What is he saying? You are active. So you are operating on the beta level.
Yes.
But then, when you are watching television, within the very first few seconds of engaging in watching television, your brain waves goes down from beta level to alpha level. Now, the alpha level, what happens then is your cognitive functions now are decreased. You're now, we call that the receptive phase.
Yeah.
At that moment, your critical thinking is switched off. You are now receiving what you are seeing.
Yeah.
You are receiving what you are seeing without critically refuting and analyzing whether it is good or not. That's what happens when you're watching TV. So, the bad thing about that one is, apart from your brain dropping from beta level to alpha level, there's also something being fired in your brains, which are called the mirror neurons. So the mirror neurons in your brain, what that does is, it is seeing something happening, and it is playing what is seeing in your brain, and it is giving you the sensation of what you are seeing. In other words, sometimes I say I won't eat for this type of this many hours. I won't eat.
Yeah.
And usually I'm fine.
Yeah.
But let's say a commercial comes on TV
KFC.
or something, and there is food being displayed. Immediately my stomach starts growling.
Immediately. Give me food.
Why? The mirror neurons in my brain see it, and they see it, and they play in my head. They're like, oh, look at the bread. I want to eat. I want to eat. So it's beginning to being aroused by what it's seeing. That's one. So it causes you to feel the sensation of what you are seeing.
Yeah.
Another part of the mirror neurons, what it also does is, that's why, for example, if you're watching a horror movie, when something as bad is happening to that guy on TV,
Yeah.
and let's say a monster comes out of darkness and it's like, huh! Not only the guy on TV screams, but you who are sitting, you also jump.
Yeah.
Why? Because in your brain, the mirror neurons are causing you to think that you are also experiencing what the guy is experiencing.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes when you see something happening on TV which is either violent or sad, you become sad. You see something happy happening on TV, you kind of take over that happiness.
Yeah.
Because your mirror neurons are transporting or taking what they are seeing and causing you to act and feel as if you are doing it. Now, imagine if 97% of TV now is sexual promiscuity, wickedness. You cannot watch a movie where you won't see a gay nowadays.
Yeah.
You will not watch a movie where you will not see people drinking alcohol. It's impossible. You will not see a movie where people are cursing. People are committing fornication.
Yeah.
People are hitting someone, cursing. So take all the negative things you are seeing
All the ingredients.
on TV. And now your mirror neurons are operative. And also your brain is decreased to the alpha level. What does that mean? You are receiving all these things into you.
Yeah.
And while Satan is projecting and proposing all this wickedness to you, your beta level critical thinking is switched off or is down. So your subconscious is storing everything.
You're just accepting it.
Now what happens then? Your subconscious cannot be controlled. Or should I say, your subconscious can only be controlled when you're not trying to control it. So that is when you go into automatic pilot, meaning when you start doing things without thinking, when you have developed characters or characteristics, these are things that are embedded in your subconscious nature.
Yeah. Programmed.
They are programmed within you, but it came in when your cognitive functions were down. You received all that wickedness. For years you're receiving it, and now it's part of you. You see a woman, immediately you want to lust. Why? You have seen too many lusting. You curse out people. Why? You've seen too many cursing.
Yes.
You drink. Why? You saw too many drinking. Women, they are with their lovers or men or husband. They're like, you have to touch me like this. You have to treat me like this. Why?
Because
Hollywood subconscious programming.
Hollywood.
You see the fruits of technology? I'm sure 90% of people would be better persons if they threw out their TV.
Yeah.
Technology. You see what's doing? Technology. And that is just TV. And now because of time, I have like 50 more minutes left. So I have to bomb you with something really
You
good
have to bash us.
before we finish. This one will shock you for real.
Shock us.
It will shock you for real. And this is the end game of technology. When these fallen angels came and introduced all this knowledge to us, mankind, it was not just to corrupt us. It was also to their advantage. Why? I mentioned something about portals.
Yeah.
You guys thought I was joking.
Huh?
When I was telling you guys that, hey, for me to call Abigail who's there, and for her to hear me by phone or to see me by an apparition, which is nothing else but a vision,
Yeah.
there has to be a portal. Something must connect this to her.
Huh?
Something must connect this machine to that machine.
A portal.
Just like when Elohim wants to speak to us, he is there.
Yeah.
Wherever he is, I don't even dare to say there, because for me to say there means that there is a there, a there, and there. Elohim is not there.
He's
Elohim is.
everywhere.
So for Elohim to talk to me through means of my mind or my brain or my heart or visions, there has to be a connection.
Yeah.
Now, because I came from him, there's a connection from me to him. So he can speak to me through that portal.
Yeah.
For angels to appear and disappear from here to there must be a portal. Right. So the concept of portals have already been revealed to us, but we don't know. Then when if I want to call justice now, I have to create a portal.
Yeah.
So the internet, I asked you, what is the internet? It's nothing but a small version of a portal. But there is a bigger end game,
What?
which people don't know and don't understand.
Please tell us.
So, because the Bible says what was in the beginning, I think we have is the same thing that shall be. And there is nothing new under the sun. When Elohim punished these angels that came down and caused mischief on this earth,
Yeah.
he closed the gate for them to appear and reappear, to enter into our world. When he closed the gate for them to enter or appear and reappear, they're now looking for ways to make sure that, hey, how can we come back to this place, to this stratosphere?
Yeah.
So now they're trying to do something to make sure that they create a portal once more for them to be able to appear and disappear here.
Yeah, listen.
But exactly, now we are going somewhere. Thank you, brother. Now there is
Oh.
this company,
I see.
or there is this term. Everyone who watches movies, the Avengers,
Yeah.
they have been talking about things called quantum physics. You hear these things and your mind is like, let me run, let me go eat McDonald's. I don't want to know about quantum. No.
Too much info.
I don't know why we folks always want to run from things that sound too much for us. We always want to know. Sometimes we have to dive in. When you hear things like quantum physics,
Yeah.
the quantum realm, the quantum particles, you think this is just, you think for you is nothing. It's everything. So, what is quantum physics, for example? Quantum physics is basically the theory of interdimensions,
Yeah.
where people want to know how everything that exists in the world exists in unison.
Yeah.
So, how can I best explain this? The people who came out with quantum physics, which is nothing else but the law of interdimensional connections, they came across something which they call the God particle.
Yeah.
And listen, science. These are people of science, right?
Yeah.
They call themselves scientists, meaning they don't believe in God.
Yeah.
But they found something
And they call it?
which was so stupefendous. So they were so stupefied that they were like, this is the God particle.
What?
They said, we have found something called the God particle, which simply means it is the glue of the universe. So they have found a particle that combines and that causes all things
All things.
that exist to be unified. So how can I really best try to explain this? Let's say, because you know that what they want to do is they want to become gods themselves, right?
Yes.
They want to know how they can create human beings.
Want to exalt themselves.
That's their end game. They have made cyborgs and robots, and they have been able to create physical things.
Clones.
But the soul, the eternal energy, is lacking.
Yeah.
So now they want to know, what does a human being consist of?
Yeah.
Because they can already make synthetic flesh.
Yeah.
They can make synthetic bones. They can make synthetic blood.
Yeah.
They can make everything. But for that being to come alive,
To move
they don't.
on its own.
So they're looking for something here. Now what? Okay, I have 10 more minutes.
You have 10 more minutes.
What is this? No, because you guys like technology and science. So let me tell you something. So what is this God particle? Yeah?
Yeah.
It's like, let's say you want to know, hey, you see a house.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, I'm a science guy. I want to know how does this house come to be? So you take the roof off, you take the pillars, you take the beams off the house.
Yeah.
And you thought that the foundation of the house would be nails.
Yeah.
But you take everything off, and you remove even the nails, and you see like, hey, everything that kept the house together were not nails, it was glue. It was glue.
Cement.
So now you're like, hey, this glue, it's now hard. How did this glue come to be?
Yeah.
And that glue that holds everything in existence,
Cement.
that is, that is what they call the God particle. Because, did you ever hear the scientific term, or have you ever heard science say that the human being is a microcosmos of the universe?
Nope.
Meaning that you, as a person, you are a smaller version of the universe. You've never heard that before?
Somewhere.
Okay. Science says that because you see me,
Yeah.
right? You can see me, you can touch me and everything, right?
Yeah.
But did you know that in reality, in essence, you and I are made of pure light?
Yeah.
Okay. So when it says you and I are made of pure light, what it basically means is that when you break down the human body,
Yeah.
and you zoom in, you zoom in, you zoom in, you zoom in, you see that we are made of tissues of blood, flesh, bones. You zoom in, you zoom in, you zoom in.
Yeah.
You see that we are made of molecules. You zoom in, you zoom in, you zoom in. You see that we are made of things that are called atoms.
Yeah.
You zoom in, you zoom in, you zoom in. You see that we as atoms, we are nothing else but particles.
Yeah.
You zoom in, you zoom in, you zoom in. You see that these particles are known as matter.
Yeah.
So what that simply means is the way that you and I exist, we are nothing else but small particles
Yes.
or plain energy. But we as plain energy, normally the particles, they come together, they form atoms, and what they do is they shake at a very high speed. And when they shake at a very high speed, that is why you can now touch and you can feel me.
Yeah.
But I consist of pure energy. But they say that for this energy to exist, there had to be a plane of existence, which was utter darkness.
Yeah.
If you have time, when you go home, Google something which is known as the Higgs boson string theory. No, you say 4 more minutes. Who's coming after me? No one. Okay, so we can take another additional 5, maybe 10 minutes.
Okay, do
So
it.
when they say the Higgs boson string theory, this Higgs boson scientist,
Yeah.
they said that, how can I really break this down? What they said was that normally there are 4 dimensions.
Yeah.
There is space, there is time, and there is matter,
Yeah.
and there is mass.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, yeah.
So there are 4 dimensions. That's what they said. Space, time, matter, and
Mass.
I think it was like mass. And then what these scientists have found out was that for a human being to exist in that continuum, you have to consist of all these you have to consist of all these dimensions coming into one.
Yeah.
Meaning, me, I live in this present time. I occupy space.
Yeah.
I'm consisting of flesh and blood,
Yeah.
and I live in this realm.
Yes.
That's the only way for existence to be. But they said that in the shaking of all these particles,
Yeah.
they found out that apart from this matter, because they found that apart from this matter, there's also something which is known as dark matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what they this guy. So what this dark matter basically is that they said that they have been able to conclude that this whole universe consists of 90% of this universe consists of things we do not apprehend or we are not able to see, and only 5% consists of the things that we are able to see.
Yeah.
So they basically said that we are now on the brink of 5% of what exists. And they say there is something else out there which we don't know.
But
We don't know where it is. But they said that they have found proof that it exists.
exist and they want to.
So how did they do that? As I said, you and I, we are made of light,
Yeah.
but we move at a certain speed. And when we move at a certain speed, we are colliding
Yes.
one against each other. That is why you are physical.
Yep.
That's why some people say that human beings are vibrations or sound. When someone says, hey, this a man heeft a rare vibe, this guy has a strange vibe, it means that you are shaking at off balance and it's hindering my shaking. So you're like, hey, this guy has a wrong vibe, because all of us, we are light shaking. So what happens now is that they have now built in CERN. CERN is a company in Switzerland.
Yeah.
It came to be in the year 1961 or something.
Yeah.
They have built a super big,
Collider or so.
they have built a super large tunnel, which they call it the Hadron Collider.
Yeah.
The Hadron Collider. The Hadron Collider is like a very big tunnel, around 24 kilometers long. And what they have found, what they have been able to do is they have been able to take particles, moving it at a speed faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
And they have moved it so fast that it began to collide against each other.
Yeah.
And when it collided against each other, they found out that when it touched each other, the thing touched a bit of the dark matter.
Yeah.
In other words, when it collided against each other, it now touched a different dimension. And it came back with information.
Yeah.
No, I don't think. So let me explain what that means.
It opened the portal.
So when they activated the Hadron Collider,
Yeah.
they placed particles in it and it started moving. At a certain speed, when they collided, there was a big explosion, a bang.
Yeah.
And in that bang, they said that they created a portal.
Yeah.
Something opened to a different dimension.
Whoa.
And how does this relate to all that I'm saying? In the science world, there's something that they call the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
And this guy, this Higgs boson strings, he says that in the Big Bang Theory, before everything became what it is today, there was first a big empty nothingness where everything existed in. And all of a sudden there was an explosion. And this explosion caused all things to move out of place. And when you read the Bible, for example,
Yeah.
the Bible says that Elohim has covered himself in a dark pavilion.
Yeah.
Elohim has covered himself in a thick cloud of darkness.
Yeah.
And then Elohim spoke, and said, let there be light. And there was light. So when the people are talking about Big Bang Theory, they're not completely wrong. It's just that the way they're going about it is they're trying to exclude the creator and just speak about the happening.
Yeah.
But nothing happens out of itself. Elohim spoke and things came into existence. Now they are saying that they have now found this utter darkness and they call it the God particle.
Yeah.
Meaning the clue that holds all things together.
Yeah.
That is the God particle. Now, why do they want this God particle? Because they understood that they are not able to create light, which is the source of life, unless they have the God particle, because they know that nothing can exist out of this plane of reality. But they cannot create this plane of reality because they are found in this plane of reality. They have to step out to create it.
Yeah.
So now what do they want to do? They want to find it in its rawest form and then create something on top of it. I know this is sounding maddening, but it's happening.
It's happening.
This is happening.
CERN is out there.
This is happening. Now, to really blow your mind and to
What?
bring it to, because we have 5 more minutes.
More blowing of mind.
No. This is the conclusion.
He wants to blow
Because
our mind.
CERN is a scientific center.
Yes.
But watch this. And I told you they are nothing else but they are occultic worshippers.
Yeah.
Why am I saying this? Because CERN, right? When you go to the gate of CERN, in front of the door, there is a statue of Shiva.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, this statue of Shiva is the Indian god of what? Of destruction. Because the Indian pantheon exists of 3 gods.
Yeah.
You have Vishnu, you have Brahma, and then you have Shiva.
Yeah.
Brahma, which means universe, is the god of creation. We have to stop. 5 more minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
5 more minutes. Brahma is the god of creation.
Yeah.
Shiva is the god of destruction.
Yeah.
Then you have Vishnu, who is the god of balance.
Yeah.
So in CERN, they have this great statue of Shiva performing the dance or the ritual of destruction.
Yeah, yeah. That's what post.
So they explained or they interviewed the guy, the head of CERN, like, why do you guys, who are a scientific center, have a statue of Shiva in front? You guys are supposed to believe in science. None of that nonsense
Matters.
And then he says, no. He says the implications of the dance of destruction is what we are trying to replicate in CERN.
What?
So what? Because if you look at the mission statement of CERN, they said they want to explore the universe and the utter dimensions. So what they basically want to do is they want to make sure they create portals
Yeah.
so that they can locate this antimatter. Because with this antimatter, they are able to destroy in order to create.
Yeah. Destroy to create.
I don't know if you're understanding me, but because of time,
So much information.
I have to stop it there.
Yeah.
So dear people, I gave you certain things. Go and look up the God particle. Go and look up CERN. I told you certain things about creating portals. How you, when you are making phone calls, just accept it. You are creating portals. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just saying that Elohim made men upright, but men sought out many inventions. Many of the things you are seeing nowadays in technology, especially, maybe I think we have to make a separate subject talking about the medical field. We're talking about things like heart transplant, blood transfusions. These are things that we are going somewhere. All happening through science. Normally, when you do good, nothing bad happens. When you do evil, sudden bad happens. When you come to Elohim, he shows compassion. Elohim heals you by his power. But now people try to take Elohim out of the equation, but still command healing. My heart is busted. Elohim would maybe give you a new heart by healing you. But now you can just go.
And buy a new heart.
Operate. They can give you a new heart. This guy, John Rockefeller,
Yeah.
he was on his 6th heart.
What?
He was able to consume 5 hearts.
Big spender.
And then they placed the 6th heart, so he lived for many years. Though he died eventually, technology was able to help him a bit.
A bit.
So they use technology, but they don't know that technology is their God. They are using it to replace the real Elohim.
Yeah.
So dear people, technology is your servant. It shouldn't be your master. Be very careful with this science and technology, because all the great men of science are nothing but demon and fallen angel worshippers. They worship Lucifer, which means the light bringer. They see Elohim as the wicked God who wanted to make sure that knowledge was hidden. And they see Lucifer as the true God who came and gave them light. So what nowadays we call science was once known as sorcery. May you be blessed.
Wow. This message here, eh? I hope y'all people are as shocked as I am, because certain things cannot be taken for granted. Technology is all around us, and as we can hear that Elohim, I won't say nothing. I'm just going to say, just research the things. As the brother said, there's something out there is CERN. You need to discern what is good and what is bad. So people, thank you for listening. We would like to wish you a blessed Sabbath. Thank you for listening. You can find out the messages that we discussed. The topic that we discussed this episode was technology, and the theme of this month is this generation. The previous topic that we handled was the madness of this generation. You can always listen to those subjects back on our social media pages. And I would like to thank you, and we hope to see you again next week. We would like to wish you a blessed Sabbath morning, and see you later.
Yeah, man. Attaque mujani for wakti. Fadija ukumbaka. Fire wakchin. Ate yodu sa ataki, eh? Yeah, man. Libi pai wanyo boy. Ataki sai wanya inya libia. Masandi gadu takia ye wo tu you now man kengi datia. We live